may be seated. I want to share with you briefly, a few minutes that I have, on the subject I am calling the mystery of a Father's touch. The mystery of a Father's touch. God is a Father, and I think we all know that. In fact, Jesus taught us and said, when you pray, pray like this: Our Father who art in heaven. God is not only a Father, but he is also a God of fathers. And that is why Jacob and all the patriarchs of faith would talk about God, and they would say, the God of our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He is a God of the fathers. Of all the titles that people give me, including author, motivational speaker, conference speaker, all those things, the title that I cherish most is simply Dad, Father. Just that. Father. Every child without a father has a hole in his or her soul in the shape of his father. It might be difficult for some fathers not to have a son, but it is much difficult for a son to be without a father. Unfortunately, what I see in the society today, we have a father hunger in the society today. There's a father hunger. And people are asking, where are the fathers? Where are the fathers? About 25 years ago, or thereabout, I read an article. And in that article, I don't even remember who the author was. But the author had said something that captured my attention. He said that the Jewish people constitute about 2% of the entire population of people who reside in the U.S. 2%. But the article also said that out of all the inventions and the discoveries that are made in U.S., 98% of them are done by people who are of Jewish descent. And that got my attention. How is it that out of 2%, 98% of the inventions and the discoveries are made from these people? That caught my attention. And I happen to be a very curious person. I was so curious, I decided to study and find out what it is that made the Jews special more than all the other tribes in the world. And I discovered something that I want to share with you today. I discovered that the Jewish people, in their traditions and their customs, a son, upon attaining the age of around 12 years, would be taken to their father, and the father would lay his right hand on top of the head of the boy, and he would speak, or if you like, would prophesy over the son every good thing that he wanted to see happen in the life of his son. When I discovered that, I made up my mind. I said, I may not be a Jew of Jewish descent. But when I read my Bible, the Bible says there is no longer Jew or Greek or Gentile, for we are all one under the lordship of Jesus, because we have all been bought and by the blood of his son, Jesus Christ. So I remember many years back, I went to my home in the village. And in the village, we used to have what we call a big house on one side of the compound. And we used to have like a small house that we used to call the kitchen. Oh, you don't have villages. All of you, you are town dwellers. Okay. Where I come from, I am from the village. And we used to have a big house and a small house, the kitchen. And then we used to have a granary. somewhere in the compound where you harvest maize and you put it in there. So I remember I went into that granary and I pulled out a kagunia and I went with it to where my mother was they were chatting with my father in the kitchen, and I laid the gunia on the floor and I spoke to them and I said to my father, I said, Papa, I would like you to lay my hands on me, and I want you to speak every good thing that you would want to see happen in my life. And they looked at each other, gave each other a knowing look, exchanged glances. But he accepted, and I knelt down, and my father laid his head on me. And he said, my father was a pastor, and he said to me, son, may God bless you. May God raise you. May God take you far. May he cause you to be in places that I have never been able to go. May you speak to the world, to the nations of the earth. And I wish my father was alive today to see me here today, that his wish, his blessing upon my life is what has contributed for me to be here today.